Belgium, buttermilk, home style, red velvet, blueberry. So what I'm describing are different flavors and types of waffles that I would probably pick out, but there's so many different types. Now today it is National Waffle Day, so we're going to be doing some waffles inspired by an artist. Go ahead and stay tuned and I'll show you what materials that we'll be needing for this project. Alright, so for this you will be needing a pencil, paper, crayons or anything to color with, and a ruler. Now, if you do not know how to draw a perfect circle, you could go ahead and use a cup. You can use the top or the bottoms depending how big you want your waffles to be. Or if you want to do some square waffles, I have a coaster here just to show you that you could go ahead and trace that too. And if you don't have a cup or a coaster but you got a ruler, then you could go ahead and use a ruler to do your straight sides for your square waffles. Alright, looks like we went over the materials. Now let's go and get started. Wayne Thiebaud, he is an American painter and he was known for his pop art style with heavy pigments, and also he was known for his colorful works of commonplace objects like pastries, ice cream, pies. And we're going to be doing our own inspired by him. So I'm going to draw two waffles, two stacks. So on the left side, I'm just drawing a line that goes up, second line that goes over horizontally, and then back down vertically. Now we're going to connect our two ends, make a horizontal line, so we got our complete square. Mine was a little wonky, but no fear. I'm going to go ahead and just use my eraser. I'm going to fix that line. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to do an overlapping waffle behind it, but I don't want it perfectly squared. I want it kind of turned a little bit on its side. So I did a diagonal line coming off the left side of the waffle, along with two more diagonal lines to make it like a square. I guess similar to a diamond shape. So I'm just making sure the corners are peeking through so it looks like my waffle is stacked on top. Now for the round waffle, I'm just going to go ahead and use a cup because I want a perfect circle. And I'm just going to go ahead and hold it down with one hand, and with my other hand I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around. There we go, my perfect circle. Now just like how I did my square waffles, I'm going to go ahead and do an overlapping little waffle. Just slightly moving my cup to the right. Nice. Okay, so right here, this is when we could get super creative with our toppings. Now, if you like syrup, butter, fruit, chocolate chips, anything, you could go ahead and add that. So I think in the middle of my round waffles, we're going to go ahead and do our whipped topping. So I'm going to pretend like I'm doing a little cloud that has 7 little bumps. I'm going to do the same thing to my square waffle, but I'm going to do it off to the corner, not at the center. So it looks like a cloud with 7 bumps. Perfect. Now to get the nice swirl, I'm starting on my points, my little corners, and I'm going to bring them to the center, but instead of doing a straight line, I'm going to do a little curve, connecting those lines to the center. Nice, and I'm going to go and repeat that to my other waffle. Curving the corners into the center. And it's like a little dollop of Cool Whip or icing. Perfect. It really looks so delicious. Okay, so now you could go ahead and we'll just add some more detail. So to make the waffles have that crispy corner, I'm just going ahead and do a parallel line around my edge, which means my line is not going to touch. It's just going right beside it. I'm going to go ahead and do that to my second round waffle. It's kind of like creating a frame. So we're doing that now to the square waffles. So far, this part's really easy. Okay, now to go on with the topping. So it looks like I'm fixing a little line there. It's a little thick. Okay, now we're going to do the toppings, my favorite part. Now you could add your own toppings. I'm going to go ahead and just do my toppings. So for my round one, I'm going to go ahead and do some strawberries and blueberries. So to do a strawberry that's sliced, I'm just going to go ahead and draw triangles, but instead of my corners being sharp and pointed, they're going to be rounded. So I'm just making rounded triangles, starting with my short side. Then I'm going up and back down and rounding my corners. I'm going to do another small rounded triangle on the inside. It's all about the details. It really makes an artwork look complete. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add some blueberries. I'm just going to add small circles. I'm not going to add too much detail because they're so little. I'm just going to keep them just as is, just circles. Nice. Now for this one, I think I want to do like a chocolate drizzle. So I'm going to do like an S, just like a wavy line that kind of looks like a snake, starting from the Cool Whip. Now my second line, I'm going to give a little bit of space. And I'm just going parallel. My lines are not intersecting. There you go. Just complete the edge. Now I did that. Awesome. Now this part here, it may take a while, but it's going to look so good once we start coloring. So on the inside of our waffles, because what is so iconic about waffles is those little squares, and all of your syrup or chocolate and all the fruit juices or whatever kind of pancakes you're eating, it all gets in those little nooks and crannies. So we're going to go ahead and draw a lot of little squares that kind of look like tiles. So they're all in rows next to each other and on top. So I'm just taking my time, making sure I'm getting those squares. Because right now they kind of just look like pancakes. And we want them to look like waffles. I'm curious to know what kind of waffle flavors you like. Now I did mention some buttermilk. I have tried red velvet pancakes for the first time a couple years ago, and it changed my life. It is so good. And I've had, let me see, I've had banana chocolate, I've had blueberry, buttermilk. I think that's it, but there's like an endless amount of like toppings and flavors. Like it's just like a birthday cake. Like it's just, the possibilities are endless. Okay, so we're still adding squares. See, I told you this will take a while, but it's going to be so worth it once we start coloring it in, and it's really going to pop. Okay, now I'm on my last waffle, adding those squares, making sure they're lined up. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and just, I think I'm going to grab a ruler, maybe. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a ruler, and I'm going to divide my two waffles into two separate segments, just to give it that more pop art feel. And we'll talk about more pop art next week, because I think I might do a series of projects about pop art. Right, so I went and traced just the main parts of my waffle. I did not trace every single square, because we're going to leave that to the coloring. I just wanted us to outline the important parts of our waffles, the toppings, and of course the outline shapes. Now for this project, I'm only using just crayons, but go ahead and use whatever you like. I'm using my red crayon to go ahead and do the outer edge of that rounded triangle that we did on our strawberry. And on the inside, on our smaller triangle, I'm going to go ahead and color that pink. Nice. Blueberries, I'm choosing 2 different colors. I'm going with the cerulean blue, which is a lighter blue. And then with the darker blue, I'm just adding some shading on the edges. Now for the whipped topping, to make it a little bit more realistic, I'm adding some shadow with the cerulean blue crayon just on the edge of each little shape. Now I'm going to make this like my chocolate syrup. So I'm going to go ahead and color this little drizzle brown. I probably could have done that with marker, but it's okay. Alright, now for the waffles, we want them nice and golden color. Now I don't have a gold crayon, so I'm going to have to make my own shade of gold. So I'm just lightly coloring my waffles with an orange crayon. Just like a regular orange crayon. I'm going over it really lightly. I'm trying to cover the whole entire thing. I'm not worried about my squares. Just doing the entire thing. Making sure that I get in and around that chocolate drizzle. Can't forget my little triangle corners there that were overlapping underneath. Okay, now I'm going to go with the yellow crayon lightly, and it's already turning that golden color that I want. It's not yellow, it's not orange, but it's just right in the middle. And I'm kind of happy with the color that I created. Alright, so I'm going back with the orange crayon and I'm coloring really lightly. And I'm going around the rings that we did, kind of the framing. And then on the inside of each square, I'm coloring it in a little bit more orange. So then now you can see those little shapes. The dimension really pops out once you start layering and adding a little bit more darkness and value to your waffles. Same thing. I'm just darkening my edges and I'm coloring inside each square. And those pockets are more noticeable now. This is making me really hungry. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to go get some waffles now. Okay, now I'm making my square waffles like a chocolate chip waffle, like if it was in the batter. So I'm just adding just little specks of brown. Nice. I'm happy. All right, so now we're going to add some shading around our waffles. Now, whenever we are shading anything round, you want to make sure your shadow is curving along with that round shape. And then the square one, I'm just going to go ahead and just use some straight lines to create shadow. Nice. All right, now for the background, since I want it to be inspired by Wayne Thiebaud, I want to use light pastel colors. So probably on the mixed berry side, I'm going to go ahead and use my cerulean blue crayon. And I'm just lightly going diagonally across and just coloring the entire background. The whole thing. Just because I want my waffles to be the focus and the center point of our art piece. So I'm just darkening up the shadow with the blue. And now for the chocolate chip waffles, I'm using a purple crayon and diagonally coloring the background as well. And I'm using a messy mat, which is that blue paper. In the classroom, I have kids use messy mats just so they don't mark the tables. If you're doing this on a dining table, I'm sure your parents would appreciate you using a messy mat. All right. Oh my gosh, it came out so good. So these are our pop art Wayne inspired waffles. Today is National Waffle Day, if I did not say that already, but like the detail and the toppings that we added, along with the pastel that's inspired by the artist of the day. I am so excited to see how you got to customize your waffles. Yeah, if you like red velvet, how I mentioned before, any other flavors, I would love to see what kind of flavoring toppings that you added for your waffles. Yeah, so thank y'all for watching this video. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to comment and tell me how I'm doing on the videos. But also go to my Facebook page. I'm going to go ahead and link it in the description. And yeah, go ahead and follow me on there for extra content. Thank you guys. Bye.